the Sparkle Madness podcast.
Hey, the microphone tried to do what it did last week, but I didn't let it.
So we actually have audio.
We have audio.
I was listening live to you guys last week when I wasn't here.
And you didn't comment when we asked you to.
I didn't because I was driving through. I actually only caught the second half of it because I was in a dead zone. So, but then I also knew that my phone would crap out and I wouldn't have internet. So when I had the little brief window, that's when I sent in. Did you guys talk about character development yet?
We did.
Yeah, we did. We completely did.
You follow?
We did a good job when you weren't around. We made you proud.
Yeah, you did Predator 2 versus Predators.
We did, yeah. We did. Did you see the opening video for that?
No, I didn't.
It was the dance video.
There was an outtake in the Predators video that they did a dance routine at the end for fun, and it's hilarious. So
and Danny Glover got in the fun too.
Predator. It's a real thing.
It's real. It's a real dang thing.
I told him to overlay it with Sting's "Every Move You Make."
I didn't want to get in trouble
because he's invisible.
Oh well, speaking of Sting.
Oh,
hey! Oh my God!
That was not set up. That was a random,
masterful. Can we stop now?
Yeah, pod's over.
Yeah, there we go.
Speaking of,
we did not write that in there.
So, I'm Matt, that's Ben over there, and that's Aaron at the controls. We talk about movies every week, and by the end of this podcast, we'll give you a rating about whatever we just watched.
This podcast, we wonder why we started.
What are we even doing here?
You follow?
So I said, speaking of Sting, today we're doing the 1973 Best Picture winner, The Sting. Because Robert Redford, his very last movie is coming out this weekend. Old Man with the Gun, Old Man and a Gun, something like that.
I thought you think a title like that Clint Eastwood would be in that movie.
Yeah.
You follow?
Maybe it was directed by him.
Yeah, maybe.
You're gonna work that in the whole time.
Quiet.
Don't pay attention to it.
So we thought we'd honor Robert Redford because his last movie's coming out by doing one of his best movies, or at least
I think it's one of his best.
He got nominated for this. He didn't win the award for Best Actor.
No. But so what came first? Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid?
I believe Butch Cassidy.
I think that came first
because that's the first time that Paul Newman and him were in a movie together, right?
Right.
Yeah, I believe so.
And they were into it. They loved that chemistry so much they used him again.
Yep. That's con man.
To great effect. I liked it.
Yeah.
Quite good. So we're going to talk about this movie quite a bit. Do we want to try and do a synopsis thing here?
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah.
Me?
Oh, we did a lot of talking
who smelt
last week.
it, dealt it.
You took the notes. You follow?
Okay. I'll give it I'll do it as
good
quickly
luck
as
with
possible.
this one, pal.
This most convoluted plot. The overarching, if you haven't seen the movie, is Robert Redford is a con man. He and his original partner, Luther, are conning somebody. And it happens to be someone associated with the mob. Which,
They conned the wrong man.
That's right. And the mob boss is Robert Shaw, who's Irish. Quite Irish.
He's quite Irish.
Robert Shaw plays the bee in this movie.
He is the Sting. He's got the stinger.
It was a good bee suit.
Kelly.
Good.
You follow?
These references are from 1973.
Buzz. You follow?
Yes. You follow? Yes. Bitch. Don't swat at me.
Please stop us, Matt.
All right, so they con the wrong guy, and so Robert Redford has to ditch town. His partner ends up getting killed. This is the very start of the movie. Not really a spoiler.
A lot happens in the first 5 minutes.
And so then he goes to meet up with somebody his partner Luther connected him with to start scoring the big con versus these small time ones. And that's Paul Newman, who's this expert con man who's been kind of in hiding and drunk and stuff.
Paul Newman's character was busy making all these ranch dressings and
Fig Newtons.
Really,
and conning people with pasta sauce that wasn't really that good.
Yeah.
But I still bought it anyway.
He's the marinara man.
He is.
Yeah.
Paul Newman. All the canker sores. His pasta sauce was very acidic.
Was it?
It was specific.
Yeah, it was.
Somebody's like listening to this at home and it's like, he's so right.
And somebody, Newman.
I've been trying to put this opinion to words for years.
Yeah. Yeah. You follow?
The Alfredo's outrageous.
What a con man.
Yeah.
It was outrageous.
Talk about a big sting operation.
Yeah.
Stung your mouth.
So
Go on, man.
apparently Paul Newman, though, was also at one point or another hurt, not hurt literally, but like
he was stung?
He was stung by the mob guy, by Lonigan, Robert Shaw. I don't remember why he wanted revenge also.
It was very in passing.
Yeah.
I see.
They concoct a huge operation to try and get back at him and steal a whole bunch of money. And the whole point of it to be that he wouldn't even know that they were the two responsible. And kind of in the background, a cop who was after Redford at the start of the movie is trying to chase him down too.
Which is Pappy O'Daniel.
Yeah.
Pappy O'Daniel from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, if anybody remembers that movie.
Yeah, he looks like a schmuck in any movie he's in.
He's so good.
Yeah, he is.
He's quite schmucky.
He was quite young then.
He's a schmuckle. And ultimately becomes like this elaborate
elaborate is putting it lightly.
Elaborate Ocean's 11 plot to steal his money.
I'd be willing to wager that 90% of the audience didn't follow.
You didn't follow?
Didn't follow. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of poker. I would say the main part of it is poker and then horse racing.
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting.
Which is interesting. Here's a whole universe connected. The guy who plays the fake horse race announcer.
It's Poop Deck Pappy.
It's Poop Deck Pappy.
No,
so
way.
It is, and he took his he took his scam on the road to the Popeye village.
This was when he was clean.
It was,
like,
but like
he was clean.
But he was running horse races.
He hadn't picked.
He was running fake horse races in Popeye Village.
Yeah.
So he was onto it. That's where it began.
Yeah.
It's all thanks to Paul Newman.
him and his sauce.
Him and his ranch dressing.
Yeah.
I always thought they called it the sting because the way Robert Shaw talked in it was like, I got a stung in my mouth. You follow?
The swallowing's unbelievable.
Yeah. Shock bit me.
Now, as far as impediments to him go, did anybody know the fun fact about him in this movie?
The limp?
He was
Are you
limping?
talking about the limp?
Yeah, the limp.
Was that an extra thing of character?
Shall I say it or will someone
you go
else?
ahead.
Okay. The limp in this movie is reportedly real.
Oh.
He had injured himself right before the movie, and the director was like, just make it a character thing.
It's pretty cool, actually. I thought, look at that. He's a brilliant actor.
I thought it looked like real limping.
He's a big dude. He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's very good.
It's a shame he wasn't in many movies.
So, where do we want to start with this one?
Well, let's start with that bumblebee at the beginning. They actually played Flight of the Bumblebee at the beginning.
Which was very anachronistic,
It was.
but it worked.
And then they went right into the entertainer.
Yeah.
And then when
Scott
the
Joplin.
butterflies showed up, I turned it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's The Entertainer. Such a good song.
I don't know, man.
What?
No, I mean for this movie.
That's when I first that's when I was first introduced to that
Really?
song. Yeah.
I don't know where I got
You follow?
introduced to it, but I have never watched this movie before last night.
What?
Whoa.
What?
Oh.
I was excited.
What?
All right. Well,
I always knew I had to watch it.
I've watched
I
it
just
many
didn't.
times.
did you have any idea what it was going into it?
I mean, I had some idea.
Paul Newman?
My only misconception is I thought this movie was made in like the 50s.
You follow? Well, I thought so too, but it was the 70s.
To its credit, it did the period thing well.
About a couple years before Jaws came out.
Yeah,
So
73.
Robert
It's
Shaw
right
was
there on the
saying-
screen.
Yes, 73.
Okay, let's talk about the music.
You follow?
Yeah.
I
Or lack thereof. Honestly.
Well, what little there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did they use ragtime?
I
think they were trying to set up
because he's a
like this
drifter.
tone to it. Yeah, well, there's that.
There's
and
a drifter, and Scott Joplin
tone-
was a real Scott Joplin was an African American composer or pianist. I think he was a composer, but it has that ragtime feels in like that's the very beginning. It takes place in that with that
set the time.
this time period in that
Except
area.
ragtime fell out of popularity in like 1915.
Well,
no one was listening to it at the time.
But it
follow.
seems like it doesn't need to be like they're listening to it at that point. It's just to take you backwards, maybe.
Well, this is why I think it is. Okay, this is why, because they set it up as a vaudevillian act anyway.
It kind of does.
It is, and like so,
it does feel very staged.
Well, the very beginning, they set up the Norman Rockwell-ish, and the way it's lit is like Norman Rockwell painting.
Very much
the
so.
Norman Rockwell art. So they show the beginning, the play, and then they show that there's people.
Like, you mean the title cards?
Yeah, the art.
Like Saturday Evening Post.
Fits. Yeah, it's exactly, and they lit it that way, which is I like. And I watched it for the first time in
and
HD.
Turn the page.
Yeah, and I watched it for the first time in HD, and it's like those colors is pop.
All these transitions and stuff, the wipes and the circle things. I was like, what are we watching? Star Wars?
No,
They did it first.
I think I liked it because it was setting up. And this is just a play.
It sets
a ragtime
tone.
kind of feel.
It sets a tone, but I don't know. It didn't fit for me.
You're shook.
I think it was more.
Didn't follow.
I think the playfulness of the con, I guess it never. But
yes,
it also
it does add playfulness because of the way it sounds.
Yeah,
I will completely admit that it works on that front.
Yeah, I mean it. To me, it's less. It still kind of feels weird given the subject matter, but it's so iconic almost that it. Whenever you hear it or think of the Sting, it's like you instantly connect with it, and I think there's at least merit to that.
Yeah, you think whenever you think about the entertainer, it's connected to the Sting.
Yeah,
there are certain movies that you think that for music in general that you think was written for that movie, but it's like no, that was written for something else that they used.
Yeah, like Deepest Bluest from Deep Blue Sea.
Well, like
My head is like a shark's fin.
Well, the 2001: Space Odyssey is what
Blue Danube.
Yeah.
That was written far before the movie.
But you automatically think of that, for it. And even the beginning, that's not the Blue Danube. The beginning of it is not the Blue Danube.
Zarathustra?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also written long before the movie.
Yeah, so you think you automatically identify it to those movies.
Yeah. Wasn't Ragtime having like a resurgence in the 70s too?
Maybe.
Could that have just been a popularity decision?
Did the play come out then?
Maybe, I don't know.
Ragtime?
I don't know.
I didn't follow.
I don't follow.
Either way, there was some kind of resurgence. I read this on Wikipedia.
Anyways, I liked the transitions. I liked that it was just there to be a kind of sort of the vaudeville. They even had a vaudeville burlesque thing at the beginning too.
It was unobtrusive. It set the stage. It was good.
Yeah. And when you say unobtrusive, it like music just cuts out basically for most of the movie, and other than these transitions. There's a couple of little montages where they bring the music back, but.
I will say,
I love
the lack of soundtrack is probably one of my favorite things about this movie.
Yeah, really cool.
I think a movie is really good when it doesn't need a soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Like they use the like kind of background noise of the train they're on to kind of push it forward, or you hear them running in this quiet street, and I don't know. It's really good.
It looks so good on HD.
Yes, it
I never saw an HD like this trailer you have behind us.
It looks like crap compared to the HD trailer.
This is how I watched it for years, and then I watched the HD version. Okay, I see what they were doing with the Norman Rockwell, like just the way it vibes.
It's very bright, vibrant.
It's very Saturday Evening Post with the font and everything, and the white. So they definitely took a page out of. Well, that's when he was in like 1930s and 40s is when he was getting going. Norman Rockwell. Yeah. So they captured that a lot. You follow?
You follow?
Now you're looking at it.
They did a couple of good framings, like with the wide city shot that they do a couple of times. I think they did it at least once.
There was one where they had the like L, because this is Chicago, right? Where the L coming by, and that had to have been, because they're on a set. That had to have been like a matte painting.
Well, no, I think they shot in location on some spots. When
he's talking about the big wide shot.
There was one that was like really wide, and you saw like
when
he's
running away from under the L. I think he was really under the L there.
Oh, when he's running under,
he's running on top of the L. I think that's a real station in the L.
Shots, yes, there's probably some on location. I don't know. Some of it felt like it was on a back lot somewhere.
I think
it was pretty
empty. Was back lot.
Oh yeah, but I like that though, because you can really
It adds to the isolation of the character from the population at large.
It made it more of a painting.
It's a window into his soul.
Some paintings have people, Ben.
I know. I was just missing the Coca-Cola Santa Claus in this movie.
Oh.
You follow?
I don't. Worth what?
Because Norman Rockwell, like that's like a Norman Rockwell
okay,
thing. Like,
okay.
Yeah. The joke didn't work.
Didn't follow.
You didn't follow.
So this I'm looking at the start of the movie. I think this was has to be a contender for one of the first movies, at least that I can remember, or like in terms of when it was released, that did the I'm getting too old for this.
Yeah.
Luther did I'm getting too old for this. I'm retiring.
He plays a hustler in like everything he is, like the movie The Hustler.
Wow.
Paul Newman.
Oh, Paul Newman. Yeah.
Yeah. You follow?
Yeah. Paul Newman and Robert Redford.
Yeah,
amazing.
Luther was the guy that got killed at the beginning.
Yeah,
right?
he was the guy that got killed.
But I was just thinking. I was thinking like Paul Newman always looked old.
Always.
He's
Yeah,
always
he
looked
has
old.
that, like-
He's always like the gray and like.
I bet at 18 he looked like he was 40.
Yeah.
He's always perpetually 45.
He's a cool
until
hand
he just
Luke,
went
man.
straight to 80.
Cool hand Luke.
He's a cool
9
hand
out of
Luke.
10.
Very cool.
He's shaking that bush, boss.
Doesn't he eat like 500 eggs or something
50.
in that? Yeah.
Really? I thought he just ate.
forget.
I thought he just ate pasta sauce.
I can eat 50 cans of Alfredo.
Yeah, he does.
Nobody can eat 50 cans of Alfredo.
He's like, is that yours? No, it's Newman's own.
and then he drives off in his race car.
Perfect. I loved it.
Yeah.
I need to put
do we
I need
do
to put a
here?
fade out on that.
You follow?
What did you guys think of Redford and Paul Newman?
Oh, well.
They're just like Laurel and Hardy. Which, by the way, did you see the preview for Laurel and Hardy?
What?
There's a Laurel and Hardy movie, like biopic. Looks
John C.
pretty good.
Reilly, right?
John C. Reilly and what's his name? Who I forget the actor's name, but it looks really good.
Huh. I'll have to
Yeah.
check
Anyways,
that out.
but sidetrack. Let's talk about the movie that we're talking about. You follow?
Yeah.
Paul Newman, Robert Redford, both 9 out of 10 actors.
I think they are, and I think actually the weakest person in this was Robert Redford.
Yeah,
He's the one that got nominated.
I know, but I think Paul Newman was better in it.
way
I think
better.
I think Robert Redford's a good actor, but I think he wasn't good, like great in this.
I think he was underutilized.
He was underutilized, but like I don't believe him.
For half the movie, he's just kind of there.
He is, but he's handsome.
I would say he was. I would definitely agree that I liked Paul Newman better for sure.
Who doesn't?
I think Paul Newman's character was just inherently more interesting.
More interesting.
Yeah.
But I think Robert Redford did an amazing job too. I thought his character to set up the movie that he's so impulsive and so
And he didn't have it at
They
the
did
end.
that very right.
yeah.
I
And then he
believed every
goes
minute.
and he
It seems like he likes that time period because he was in. Remember the movie that Natural? Like it's the
Yeah.
same time period. He
he
just fits that time period.
Yeah.
He has that nice Dick Van Dyke chin
slots
going
right
on
in.
there.
Yeah.
He does. He could be like the better looking version of Dick Van Dyke. Well, actually, they're both pretty
Dick
good looking
Van Dyke
guys.
was a handsome man.
The blonde version of Dick Van Dyke.
There you go.
There you go. Speaking of Dick Van Dyke, he's in the new Mary Poppins movie coming out.
What?
You follow? Yeah, he is.
Good.
Yeah, he's still alive. Is Mickey
How?
Rooney still alive too?
I don't.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe he finally saw a dragon.
No, he finally saw Babe 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Oh.
I've been avoiding this for years.
Oh. He went out on a high note.
He went out with a squeal.
I'm gonna. So the
Do you think he went to Asian heaven? Have you ever seen Breakfast at Tiffany's? It's probably one of the most racist representations of an Asian person, played by Mickey Rooney.
Oh really?
Yeah, he plays a Japanese or Chinese person. I forget. It's just really stereotypical and
Extremely
terrible.
racist, huh?
So is Asian not PC to say Asian?
There's the continent of Asia, and there's people from
think
there.
you're-
I don't know.
I think
you're in the
Oriental's
clear.
a bad thing to say nowadays, right?
I don't know. I would think Asian is more better. but,
He
yeah.
played an Asian person.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know
but
what's to
Asian
send, but it
could
was
mean
very
Russian
it was
too,
very
so-
maybe it was Chinese.
So
he
the
was supposed
Sting.
Chinese. There's the that's
Why
the racist
why
term.
isn't Mickey Rooney in the Sting? He could be jumping sharks.
I think you're thinking of Henry Winkler.
happening?
I don't know.
All right. So the next thing I had written down was I liked.
Bust into the card game. Hey,
Hey.
Hey, Fort Jacks. Hey.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Oh, he gets shot. You didn't follow.
oh,
Hey, Lonigan. Okay.
In
So
Lonigan.
I liked the I really did like the how it kind of escalated very quickly for Robert Redford, where he had to get out of the city, like because
they didn't waste any time.
It started off as like this fun little con. They run away, everything's great. Then you think they're just going to send somebody after him, and it like from that point when you see Robert Shaw be like, send somebody to get him, get the 2 con guys, the grifters. From there to when he meets Paul, it's like 5
Speaking of
minutes.
Breakfast at Tiffany's, 2 grifters conning Robert Shaw. There's such a lot of Shaw to con. Anyways,
that was beautiful.
Sorry.
Can you do it again?
No, please don't.
No. I veto it.
Well, the other thing as part of that I think gets to the genius of the whole movie, in addition to the performances being
You would
really
say genius?
Yeah, I would. In addition to the performance being really great and the cinematography and all that.
Your cup is green.
It's just reflecting.
Is it? Oh, yeah, it's yellow. It's yellow.
You're a coward.
It's very, from a plot standpoint, it's so dense with little details.
There's
and all
so
of,
much going on.
All of
It's
them
so dense.
play in. So like during that initial scene, the cop roughs him up, and you think he's just roughing him up for a little bit of money, but he gives him counterfeit money, and really that's what propels him to keep chasing him, is because he got conned for the counterfeit money. And then the counterfeit money also plays into the dialogue later when Paul Newman is testing him, and there's so many and that happens like 50 times in the movie.
And especially if you see it for the first time, you're like, especially looking at the end, spoilers, when they're arguing with each other, you think that really happened.
Yeah.
So it plays with you as an audience member too.
Yeah, there's
so
times
you're not
when
in
you
on
question your reality.
Yeah, you're not in on the joke too. I think that's such a good thing.
Speaking of the beginning, there was a point where I yelled, I stood up and I screamed it at the TV. 3,000 on red?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of gambler are you? I'm done.
Yeah, that's good. I loved that. I loved that he went down to the seedy little bar, and then he got conned, because just setting up this underworld too during that time where there's these little gambling places.
It's like John Wick 2. Everybody's in on the drifting game.
Yeah. And then they go to that bar, and it's like, oh yeah, here's the sheet of 30 good con men to list, and
they're completely ready to drop
they're ready
everything to get started for the guy who hasn't done anything in decades or something.
One guy has his I brought my own wardrobe.
Like
imagine he's got
for
this
a
costume.
Imagine for a moment that someone you haven't seen in 20 years or something calls you up and says, "Hey, it's on," and you're like, "Cool," and then you leave immediately.
I'm there.
You're there.
That
doesn't happen.
They send you a Polaroid of them touching their nose.
No, they send a selfie.
It's like a Star Trek episode when they try to lure people in holodecks, and they think they're in real places, and they con them.
Oh yeah. Yes.
You follow?
I follow.
But maybe Star Trek pulled from that.
God,
I bet.
crazy.
This is like a better version of Ocean's 11.
Kinda.
Yes, much. I would say much better.
Yeah.
Because it's not so glitzy, and I don't know. I think there's something a little bit more charming about
Glitzy is the word.
Con men for a mobster. Like, you still get kind of that hero villain feel versus Ocean's 11. Like,
and the time period helps too.
The casino and there's the girlfriend. Julia Roberts is part of it too.
You kind of helped me solidify a thought there. This movie has a gritty feel to it for the most part, and Ocean's 11 is much more glitzy, like you said, and it kind of I don't want to say glamorizes the crime and stuff in Ocean's 11, but in this movie, at least I got the sense that there are no real good characters in this movie.
Yeah.
Everybody's got bad guy.
Everybody's gray like Aaron.
And that... Thanks.
See?
You noticed. It just gave me a nice little sense of...
Not wearing any pants.
Yeah, nobody was good in this movie, so it's like, who do you root for? Obviously, you root for Robert Redford.
Yeah, not Robert Shaw.
Forget I said anything.
Luther got killed. That's the whole reason.
Yeah, if that wasn't in the movie, this would be kind of dumb.
Right.
Well, it showed you how scary Robert Shaw is in this movie. He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I wanted some more scenes where he was incredulous of the offer that they were trying to give him, because he kind of just bit the hook right away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree and disagree with that. I would say I agree. I kind of wanted a little bit more of him being really skeptical and out, and then it's a slower build to him coming back into the fold, that's kind of what you're saying. But I also think the scenes that they did have were performed so convincingly, like the poker table, and then Robert Redford's role in basically setting the bait. Like all of that was just so brilliant and so
he wasn't
well done.
a chump. I just felt like I wanted more tension, maybe. But that I could go either way.
Sure.
It works as is.
Yeah. Once the horse race part, as that kept going, they could have factored in a little bit more. Like what?
Doing the shutout really helped, though.
The what?
When they did the shutout, that really helped.
When he couldn't put the bet down,
but he still heard who won, and it was the right tip. The
other part I think they might have even right in the middle of that scene, or right in the middle of that progression to him ultimately putting down the $500,000 bet.
Right there
was the the painter scam with the office. That was so smart and so good, and they did it so well. We're like, "Yep, I'm painting my office. We got to get out of here."
That actor who played the
mustachioed guy.
I've seen him in other stuff before.
Yeah, who is that?
But you know, he looks like, but he's not. He is not the dad on Family Tides. But he looks exactly like him.
Family Tides.
Beach edition.
Beach. Do you remember?
You beat me to it.
Do you remember Family Ties?
Ties.
Yeah. Ties. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Is it Family Ties or Tides?
Ties.
I thought it was on a boat. I'm tighter.
You're a knot.
I'm tighter. No, Family Ties. You follow? I think in my Robert Shaw,
my favorite episode is the one about the Windsor.
Yeah.
The one about the Windsor.
Sorry, half Windsor.
No, but like, do you know the dad from Family Ties?
No.
We did not watch that. Pull it up.
Do you know who he's in? You know the dad from Family Ties.
I'm on it.
He's in what's he in? He's in Tremors. He's that.
He's Bert.
See, it looks like the dad from Family. He's not.
Let me see if I can get that on screen.
With a mustache. You got to get him with a mustache.
I need to. Well, it's set on Chrome. I stopped using Chrome.
Oh,
I'll get it. I'll get it
together.
Family Ties. Yeah,
boom. I did it.
So if you're listening, go check it out.
Yeah, he looks like him.
I think a better poster of Family Ties is everybody wearing ties.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Family Ties. And it's all tied together.
Yeah, Family Ties. Yeah. No, the tied together is stupid.
What are you thinking?
That's when it gets ridiculous.
What's wrong with you, Matt?
That's when it gets ridiculous.
All right.
Come on. Keep it together.
That's outrageous.
Do we got any comments?
No.
I should probably check.
There aren't any.
I'm going to check anyway. Yeah, you're right.
You're not following?
There were a couple really good lines in this movie, I thought, too, just individually. I think all of them.
Nice to meet you, kid. You're a real horse's ass.
I just was going to say that.
I beat you.
I like when the Batman came down in his tumbler and he said, "I got to get me one of those." that was. And then Mr. Freeze came out and said, "Nice to meet you." I love that one. Those are my favorite lines.
I like that. The most ridiculous thing to say for this movie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I like the line where like, "What's with all these bees?"
The bees.
Is this a sting?
There's way too many bees.
We should have had that was good. We should have had the thumbnail for this to be just a bee. It was the sting.
No, there should have been a Seinfeld picture.
Just a bee movie. Yeah.
It should be Sting. Like we should say Sting is a bee.
We did a Sting
Maybe
movie.
a Muhammad Ali portrait.
What was that vampire movie?
Frankenstein.
The Bride.
The Bride. The Bride. That's right.
You didn't like it. You didn't follow.
I didn't think it was very good.
I liked it.
I don't know enough. This was the Robert Redford line that I like. I don't know enough about killing to kill him. Like I thought that was a really good line in the middle of them.
I'm
coming
a
up
wuss. Translated from Robert Redford.
You know, Robert Redford could be a good Captain America.
Yeah.
Wait, he was in Captain America. I forgot. He was the bad guy.
What?
Yeah.
I forgot. He was in the second Captain America.
Oh yeah.
Polished.
I think I saw that movie once. That's why I forgot.
He could be Dick Van Dyke's brother. Did we talk about that?
Oh.
He could be anything he wanted. He's Robert Redford.
That's
He's
our
so
second
handsome.
Dick Van Dyke reference.
He's charming.
So I'm thinking about Ocean's 11 a little bit. So they also have a scene where they're kind of recruiting the team. And it's very similar, actually. I enjoyed this one a little bit more because they had like a little signal, just wordlessly getting people.
Yeah.
Which I think they also did in Ocean's 11. But then they very quickly, though, they don't go through like 15 people all over the world. Or not
No,
15.
they're all pretty local.
They're all, it's just like get the 2 or 3 guys that are the core of their entire brain trust. And then they do that scene in the back room. And that's where we also get more information about Lonigan, about how he's like a really dangerous person and stuff. And they're thinking about all his habits. And
Does he own I thought he owns a lawnmower company.
Keep going. You gonna finish this
off
one?
again in Lonigan. You follow?
So, but then they quickly go on to the bar to do the recruiting in the bar with all the other people, including the one guy who was part of he was like the third man, the third stooge of Luther and Robert Redford.
He was Orson Welles. Sorry, I miss
Keep
you,
going.
Matt.
It's okay.
I miss you, man.
This is the banter.
Why do you tolerate me? You know, my friends.
And he had kind of like an interesting. He just wanted to be involved, even though he was like the small time. And then you think he's gonna get too nervous during his.
The one that Pappy O'Daniel face slammed into the table?
Just boosh.
You cracker.
Yeah, just slams him into the table.
Right.
He doesn't remember Pappy O'Daniel. I call him Dano O'Daniel.
I haven't seen that movie enough times.
Oh, he's the best part.
He's one of the best parts.
He is. We need a little guy.
I wrote down I wrote the note in here that just says, "Damn, I love Paul Newman's coyness." He's really good. He has this like little smirk.
He is a
little smirk all the time.
Smooth. He is a smooth.
Especially when he's doing the card tricks. Is that really him doing the card tricks?
Well, at least unless they did some like really good cut.
He had to do at least part of it.
Because the last one they panned up to him. Yeah. It was a pan.
Unless they did the David Bowie labyrinth thing where they had the juggler behind his arm.
Yeah.
It worked.
That's also the...
They might have. It was a
deliverance thing too.
It was a pretty quick pan up, so maybe he wasn't doing it.
Yeah, the deliverance thing when
the kid with the banjo. That's not his hand.
Oh, it's not his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the part when someone else's.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to go there and you stopped me.
Well, the card tricks part was.
You got a pretty mouth, Matt. You got a pretty mouth.
Stop it.
Stop it.
I don't follow.
Squeal, Matt. Squeal. Go on.
The card tricks scene was one of those. They did a lot of like, these guys are really good at conning people. Where he stuffs it in his pants and he did the sleight of hand, or during one of the cutaways, Paul Newman got the 4 jacks in his hand instead of the 4 threes, which is so good.
It's good leading the audience, but without cuts, would they be good con men? Without the
well, that's my hope. Considering
this movie really happened in real time,
yeah, exactly.
I didn't follow.
Whenever the camera's not on me right now, it means that timestamp. The whole advantage, though, of having the card trick scene is that they actually show somebody actually performing what they've been using the whole time, and whether it was Paul Newman or not.
Even just seeing those tricks on screen, I was very impressed.
I was like enthralled by that. That was really good.
And then they throw in him dropping the cards. That makes the scene.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be.
You're
much
still
to
a
look
little
at.
bit shaky about if he's still a drunkard or whatever. Yeah.
That was a con in itself. He was never drunk.
Was the woman that got
so good?
Was the woman who he
ended up with?
He ended up with who we were surprised it was going to kill him.
The assassin?
The
assassin.
Who did she work for again? I forgot.
Lonigan, right?
Yeah.
She worked for Lonigan.
She was at least like contracted.
Interesting.
But I think that was kind of weird because I couldn't tell if she was just supposed to follow him and keep tabs on him, or if she was already contracted to kill him.
She did drop a gun when she got shot.
And she killed that other guy.
She killed somebody?
Yeah.
Was she the one in the car with the gloves?
one. So the guy who tried to kill Robert Redford, Kelly, and Robert Redford ran away, and the guy in the alleyway gets shot.
Yeah.
You don't see who shoots him.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And they set up his thing as the other guy, but he's the one who's...
Why would she kill that guy trying to kill Robert Redford if she was trying to kill Robert Redford? Why would she?
Maybe she wanted the cash for it.
Do you know what reminded me? If you think of that scene,
a little confusing.
If you think of that sequence, it kind of reminds you of, it kind of pulled from that is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There are some similar scenes like where you don't know who the killer is.
I'm sure
it was Christopher Lloyd. People, Christopher Lloyd. He's back.
It's always Christopher
spoilers. That's a very film noir, I think, kind of thing.
It is.
You kind of obscure.
I'm not sure it matters who did the shooting in the alleyway.
Yeah,
but it was her. He said Sereno.
That was you're right. Yeah.
Is that her name, Sereno?
Yeah. That angle was a little bit rushed in.
Yeah.
If we're gonna nitpick some of the stuff, I would
wasn't
say that
bad,
was a little bit
last
forced
minute.
in.
And you kind of didn't need it.
Yeah,
you didn't need it.
It just kind of showed Paul Newman as this
a good friend,
guidance, keeping an eye out for.
Hold up here. I don't know that last stretch of the movie. It seemed like everything was going pretty perfectly. We needed some kind of tension. Maybe they could have done it better.
They needed it. I agree. And that's where I would go, is they probably could have done it a little bit better. Maybe incorporate that character earlier, the waitress.
Because I was just waiting for something bad to happen, and it never did.
Yeah. Well, I think they initially were trying to make the conflict of the movie. I even wrote down that, all right, this cop chasing them thing needs to escalate. It needs to pay off somehow. Like, what's the point of this? And then they immediately worked in the FBI part, which I think was supposed to be a misdirect. And I don't know, Aaron, I'm curious what you thought of that, because at least this is my second time seeing it. I was like on to it the whole time. Like obviously that's a con.
This is your second time?
Second viewing. Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've seen this.
Yeah. So Aaron, when the FBI came in, did you feel like that was legitimate, or were you immediately like, no way, this is real?
I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was real. I thought the way it was framed, we were supposed to know it was part of the con.
Okay.
I didn't. I always thought that they were.
I think that was. I agree with.
Didn't Paul Newman discuss with somebody else about how the cops were on him? They're like, we got to do something about that.
They did tease that, but
no,
it wasn't.
That's how I took it.
Okay.
I took it where I didn't know that.
Okay.
Of course, I was 5 at the time when I watched it.
This movie is not for 5-year-olds.
I loved it. My mom made me watch this movie. She loved it.
The poker table on the train.
Best scene in the movie.
I think that into Robert Redford, and then not the scene necessarily, but what they did with the follow up with Robert Redford's character on the train to hook him. That was, I think, the best part of the movie.
It was really good.
The whole exchange between Paul Newman and Robert Shaw. So Robert Shaw, they're both like, what a
and Shaw to say so. Yeah, you're right.
Like,
yeah.
Can I say
he grabs it.
Poker table con scenes are always good to me. I will always be a sucker for them.
Yeah. But this one didn't like drag on though.
No.
They did like 3 hands or something, and then they cut away to take a break.
And I love that.
And it was mostly on Paul Newman being drunk too.
Yeah.
Like in this chaotic. That'd be mighty nice of you, sir, to get a tie.
Well, he wasn't really.
It's family time.
And I loved family ties.
Family fun.
Family fun.
Follow.
Follow. I like the line that Robert Shaw says. What am I going to say to the group, that he's a better cheater than I am?
Yeah, that was good.
You know, sometimes the shark go away, sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes he looks straight at you. 2 of a kind.
Kings over 3.
Right in the eyes. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
I really like, and even just them mentioning, like, again, the little con details of drink a little bit of the gin, spit it out so you can smell it, but then fill it up with water. Having the deck that, like, somehow they figured out exactly the brand of card deck they're playing with to make sure you have that exact one.
11 that copied, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about this that felt much more
authentic.
Yeah,
sincere.
Like like that people would. You didn't need to have some encyclopedic knowledge of the inner workings of $1 billion casino.
There wasn't like a spoon-fed. Of like, this is how it's going to be.
It's something as simple as like, I got that branded. It wasn't Last
Jedi.
They rode the line very well, because you don't need to know gambling, you don't need to know card cheating tricks.
Everybody got that?
And they explain it enough that you can know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You follow?
And they don't explain it too much.
You will follow.
Mm-hmm. Follow.
Who
drives a boat, Chief?
Was there anything that you two didn't like about this movie? Like, explicitly?
I didn't like the Universal picture. No, I actually liked the Universal picture.
Yeah, they used the classic one.
You're just looking at the thing in the background. And even then you backtracked.
I'm sorry, I love this movie.
Yeah. I followed.
I was actually thinking about it. What I would
it's charming.
critique, I guess.
So charming.
I think it would be
the train sequence is bad. The train
I think
stuff.
we're all in agreement
I think it would be escalating some conflict to feel a little bit more real. And I think the only way to accomplish that is to work in that waitress character earlier in the movie.
Yeah, I think the waitress
that would be the one to do. Although that feels a little bit yeah, that's what I would do. I wouldn't want it to interrupt anything else though. That's the problem.
I think they can take it out and be just as
it'd be all right.
In which case, I would make the FBI stuff. I would have added a scene where the FBI nabs somebody else.
That's the weakest part of the movie is the waitress stuff. So I could just throw it in there.
If I had to make a real critique, I'd say, like, and I have to say this half-heartedly because I don't think there's any other way but the way they did it. The movie is a little long.
You follow?
Yeah, it's a tad long, but
it's 2 hours.
2 hours 10. It earns it.
Yeah, it's long, but
it's a stretch for me. I thought
it went through. Yeah, I think
it wasn't because there's no music, Aaron. If there was music in it, it would have been faster for you.
No, it just took them a long time to build that fake horse parlor.
You follow?
That's true. I liked that though. I loved that it took a while to build it, and I liked that they were. How they show, because I didn't know what The Wire was. Maybe at the time, like, oh yeah, The Wire. Obviously, they're gonna get the ticker tape. So I had no idea what that was. So then you see how it plays out.
So was there a delay on
by like 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
They would basically just wait a second until they got the horse they wanted, but it was still real. They
kind of tricks that only work before the internet.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work because Robert Shaw can check his iPhone.
Yeah.
You not follow it correctly.
Should have got the iPhone 6.
I follow you on Twitter.
Did that take a minute to sink in?
You're lying to it, Kelly. Kelly, you follow Twitter. Kelly.
I'm Shadowbend.
That's good.
Make no shit.
We're coming up on the 45. Actually, hold up. A minute ago, I was trying to come up with something I didn't like because I'm wondering whether this movie should be eligible for Hall of Fame.
Wondering. I think we can talk about it.
Let's talk
Maybe
about
it's time to go there.
Let's do a quick one.
I would say immediate entrance, no doubt whatsoever.
Go.
Me?
Yeah, Hall of Fame.
You're pointing at the screen, not me.
Hall of Fame.
Okay. Hall of Fame, yes.
Don't you have the Hall of Fame thing?
So you agree?
No, I just want to see.
He wants to play the
we only play it if we all agree.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, let's create the suspense first.
Okay, you're the last one.
I'll be the last one.
Okay.
That's the wrong one. Go ahead, Ben.
Another great line was, you want to wait, right? You want to wait a minute?
You want to wait?
Before you announce? Or do you want to do it right now?
I want one more. Give me one more.
You want to get one more?
One more?
You want to get one more?
That's what it sounded like. Okay, I follow. Do whatever you want.
God.
No, go ahead. Give your vote.
No, I'll wait.
Okay.
Cool.
One of the other lines I really liked was when they were talking about ultimately when Paul Newman reveals that he knows all about the cop and Redford has to come clean, that the cop is chasing him, people are trying to kill him. He's like, Christ, they'll probably miss you and hit me.
That was funny.
That was a great line.
Miss you and hit me.
It was such a genuine line, doesn't feel like a scripted movie line.
Yeah, right. It feels like...
It feels like something somebody would say.
Smooth character.
You know what's interesting? I wonder how much involvement the actors had in the script.
I would wager little.
Well, I think sometimes movies can improve that way if you get your actors on early on helping.
Only if they're good actors.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, what's also interesting is that both of these guys, later in their careers would become directors, but
Robert Shaw was a director too. I think so.
You can kind of, I don't know, not that I can pinpoint any specific moment, but you have to think about kind of the emotions that they're able to get that they would think about later when they're trying to get out of other actors.
I wonder in this movie if Paul Newman drives a Hudson Hornet.
I think he did a Hornet.
Yeah,
to stings people. Yeah.
No, no, because he plays Doc Hudson in Cars.
It's so much synergy of that joke was so good.
Yeah, it was good.
Nailed it.
The Sting. Was he a beekeeper in his former career? Was he conning people with that?
Yes, he was.
He did.
Is this movie in the Hall of Fame or what?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. We're trying to make these shorter. I forgot. That's why you're saying that.
Aaron, I want you to do something. Take off show the green screen in the back here.
Okay.
It's a lie. It's a sting. You thought this was a real movie set, but it's not. It's not, people. We set you up.
Yeah, that is great.
All right, there
you go. That was a good joke, buddy.
Yeah, we should.
Is it in the Hall of Fame?
Is it in the Hall of Fame, Matt? Go ahead, vote.
We did. We're waiting for you.
Oh, it's me.
I can elaborate on mine if you want.
Why would it be in the Hall of Fame?
Because it's awesome.
I didn't know.
Because I have very few faults with it.
There's I think there's something to consider, though. Sometimes a movie like this, particularly when it comes to rewatchability, when it's one it's kind of like Usual Suspects, where it's this kind of elaborate mystery almost of how are they going to pull it off, or who is the killer, or whatever. And then when you get the reveal at the end, as good as it is, it's like, oh, I got it, kind of, and maybe you can watch it one other time to kind of think through how are they going to, okay, how did that play through?
You mean how you're going to follow it?
How are you going to follow?
You follow?
Does that follow through? So there's movies like that are so good that have a short lifespan, but that some of them still transcend that. Mm-hmm. This one could have drifted into that zone.
Drifters.
But it balances the two really well in terms of how are they going to pull this off while also just everybody is so engaging and interesting, and every single scene is paced so well and plays through, and like it kind of crumbles all the way down, waterfalls throughout the whole movie, that everything feels like it has significance while you're still just enjoying the characters themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I loved it. I think it's.
Yeah,
I mean, it deserved to win. Well, I don't know if it deserved to win the Academy Award for that year. I don't know what else it was against, but I'm happy that it won the Best Picture because it's an amazing movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I went into it not knowing very much. I'd always wanted to see it, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it was a good movie. It's interesting because this is like, when did Godfather came out?
1971
or 1969 or something like that.
I don't think it was that early.
Godfather was before this.
Yeah, I think
it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's check.
What?
Because that's a comparable kind of movie.
1972.
1972.
Ooh, yeah.
So around the same time, and they're shot totally differently.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a gangster kind of thing, kind of the same time period a little bit.
Well, you start to think about the set.
But this is such a Norman Rockwell feel to it.
Yeah,
it's different, but it's not as dark.
The Godfather's more larger than life.
Yeah, it's interesting how that's shot differently. But the lighting was good. The Norman Rockwell feel too good. It's in the Hall of Fame.
Boom! Finally, I knew I'd get to play this today.
All
right, that's over.
It's so good.
The Hall of Fame.
I agree. Really great movie. Did not expect to like it as much as I did.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's very good.
You know why I give it the Hall of Fame?
Why?
Because I love Robert Shaw.
Like I love Paul Newman.
I love all of them, but Robert Shaw's my favorite. I love that guy.
He's great.
I wish he was in more movies. He sadly passed away a few years after Jaws. You follow?
Robert Shaw, Paul Newman, Robert Redford. That's like
big three.
And then the supporting cast was really solid.
That makes
too.
for a wrecking ball of a cast.
Pretty freaking good.
Pappy O'Dan. Daniel.
In the interest of time, would you boys like to dish out some quick ratings out of 10?
9 point something.
Okay.
It's above 9.
Okay.
That's where I will land.
8 out of 10.
Okay. I would also give it an 8 out of 10.
Wow. But there's different.
I liked it a lot.
I love it, but I'm saying like there's different. Like even though it's an 8 out of 10, like an 8 out of 10, I can have another movie that's
8 out of 10 is stellar.
It is, but I can have another movie that's not in the Hall of Fame that can be 8 out of 10 too. in my ratings.
That's where your ratings are. Mine's a. This is 9.5.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This was I was debating. Is this a Hall of Fame or not? You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, because
wow.
I love this movie, but it's like, is it a Hall of Fame? And it's it is.
I think it's very good.
See, like The Godfather on my scale, that's a 9. It's because I don't give 10s.
There you go. You can picture your calibration in your head.
Harry Henderson's 11.
Okay. I can see that your scale is realistic. I like that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Ben.
Obviously.
Yeah, no shit.
Duh.
So next week is October, right?
We're doing Spook of Madness 2.
Spook of Madness number 2.
Woo!
Yeah.
Spook of Madness.
Get used to that voice.
You haven't already?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do this Robert Shaw.
So
Sometimes the spook go away, sometimes the spook doesn't go away, Chief.
3, 10, 17, 24. So we may get five
weeks?
Spook of Madnesses.
Ooh.
So that's pretty cool.
Grim and ghosts come out to socialize.
Yeah.
That was good.
We had a lot of fun with this last year, and we're gonna
was
after
the
this pod,
best.
we're gonna pick some good ones. We have a lot of fun ideas. So
Yeah.
tune in next week. We're gonna probably start, hopefully before next week, announce the whole month, so you can kind of think about which ones are coming out. But maybe we'll do a vote for one of these. That'd be cool.
You should follow us on Twitter.
You should
and
follow,
smash the like button.
Yeah,
Kelly.
it. Yeah.
Well,
All right.
this has been a gas.
Wait. Let's sign off. Matt. Go to Matt.